Hey everyone, Keith Carson here. We got some severe storms to talk about. We knew we'd have some pretty strong ones, and they're rolling into western Maine out of New Hampshire. Let's go to the radar, and we've got a lot of what we call multicellular storms out there right now, so not all of them are severe. Let's go to the nastiest storm in the state right now, which is moving just east of West Paris and on the way to the north of Hartford there. This has some hail in it. The reflectivity will tell you that. And it also had a little bit of spin to it earlier. It looks like the spin has kind of settled down in the last couple of frames where it doesn't have at least any kind of tight rotation, any kind of couplet in there. But it had a look for a brief period of time like it could spin. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that storm because there is that aspect of the atmosphere today where we have kind of a small but not non-existent risk of a spin-up tornado. All right, let's go back to the radar and look at some of our other storms here. And we've got another severe storm down across York County and just about to move into York County, I should say, along Route 9 there, coming out of Rochester, New Hampshire. And this looks like a straight hailer right now, moving east around 35 miles to 40 miles an hour. And just, again, looking at the reflectivity of it, how it's got a lot of purples and reds in it, and it's a tight core, it means that it is producing hail, and it could be severe level hail. Another storm coming out of Alton, which is in the Winnipesaukee area, that storm non-severe, but again, you can tell just by looking at it that it likely has at least some hail. Whether or not that hail is of severe criteria is up for the National Weather Service to ultimately determine. Another storm coming out of Wolfboro, again, that's Winnipesaukee and through Wakefield, New Hampshire. See how it does as it goes through the terrain there. But it looks like it lost a lot of lightning in the last 15 or 20 minutes, so that's good news. A bunch of other storms, and we never like to see them come out of New Hampshire like this and get into the Sebago area where you start to get sometimes a little bit of spin out of them with the warm front around. So that's why we're monitoring these a little bit more closely maybe than storms we'd see coming out of other areas, coming down from the mountains, for example. So again, these are non-severe, but they're worth watching as they move through Plymouth and go over the Squam Lake area and eastward eventually in through 25 and Porter, for example. But again, this storm right here, it's interesting because either the lightning data is dropping out here or they're really dropping lightning that quickly. Let me check the other cells. Yeah, I'm wondering if we're actually just losing the lightning data there because look at how every cell all of a sudden just drops lightning, and I seriously doubt that that's the case. So this cell here, moving through Woodstock again, is the strongest one. We'll check that for a couplet again, and I don't see anything too concerning there as far as rotation. What we're looking for, by the way, if you're into this kind of thing, is we're looking for red and green close to each other. Opposite wind directions close to each other indicates that you are seeing rotation. Doesn't always mean there's a tornado. It depends on the level in the storm. So if it's at the mid-levels, the whole storm is rotating. Low-level, tight couplet is what you're usually most concerned about. That would indicate that you could have a possible tornado. Scan these other storms and see if anything's going on as they move out of New Hampshire. And right now, so far so good. And this storm here also not showing any velocity data. Let's check the hail tracker on it, and it does appear as though this is putting down at least some hail, again, as it moves into York County. In this cell here, non-severe, but again, watch it because it's got a little appendage here on the, look towards Wolfboro and just to the southeast of that. See how it's got a little area that's sticking out? As they come out of New Hampshire, sometimes they'll develop these little tails, and those tails are where some of the rotation can begin, and they sit in there, those little velocity couplets. So that's something you need to watch as they move eastward into Maine. Elsewhere, it's quiet, so all the weather is really coming from this direction. These storms up here are non-severe at the moment. They do have lightning, but there's nothing severe about them. Let's just check them, make sure they're not doing any kind of funky rotation, but I doubt it because of the position of the warm front. Let's see, we got to scan out of this here. Yeah, so they're not too concerning up north. Those storms are more garden variety storms. So we'll keep an eye on these. They're going to continue to move into Maine, and my guess is they'll probably box a few of these. That one that comes out of Wolfboro there will probably eventually be boxed, and perhaps the one behind it. And then we'll see what these towards Plymouth do. On the broader scale of things, there's a lot of severe weather to our south as well. So we'll keep an eye on these. Obviously, if they turn severe and look pretty nasty, or if they get any rotation to them, we'll be back on. We'll update you.